Hello, everyone, and welcome on into the Unapologetic Woman Hour. Conversations with women about how they are being unapologetic in their lives, in the communities, and in the work that they do. And I'm honored to have beautiful Joanna sharing today about being unapologetic with creative self-expression. I've known Joanna for years now, and it's been a true honor to see her begin to blossom into so many of the gifts that she has to share with this work that she does. And so I'm excited to be in conversation a little bit more about what self-expression means today, because Joanna is a true example of self-expression. So before we get going, Joanna, I would love for you to just share with the audience who you are and who you serve, and maybe a little bit about you before we dive into this deeper conversation.
Certainly. Thank you so much. And I'm so glad to be here. Tracy, I love the community that you have created. You offer so much value to all of us as a healer, as a facilitator, wise working women, these ceremonies, and all the great sacred tools for self-care, self-love. And you have been a part of my growth. Absolutely. And so I'm here in Orlando, Florida, not far from you. Joanna Tress is my name. The company that I have with my husband, Matthew, is called Mattanna. Yes, Matthew and Joanna. And we serve performing artists and anyone who is interested in tapping into the creative performing artist inside of them. So anyone who just wants to learn how to express themselves more creatively in any aspect of life, we're inviting them to join us for certain activities, to bring that out and have a good time in a safe container. And we've been married for 2 years. I have 3 grown sons. And yeah, this is the perfect theme for me as far as being unapologetic, because it took me some time to be unapologetic myself and then invite others to be unapologetic with me.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what pure self-expression is. It's without saying we're sorry for something. And I found, at least in my life, I have a background in performing. I'm an extrovert. That some people are like, oh, well, it's easy for you, Tracy. But I think it's a scary thing to put yourself out there in any way, whether you're putting yourself out there in a vulnerable way, with someone that maybe you're interested in being a friend with or date, or someone you're attracted to, then putting yourself out there with expression of maybe art or things that you like to do. We're putting ourselves out there, and then there is always that opportunity of being judged, being put down, and that opportunity of being fully embraced. But I have found so many people let the judgments and the put down stop them from just being expressive. And I myself have worked with so many clients that have come out of their shells being able, to express who they are. But have you ever noticed, whether it's with people you've worked with or anything personally you've gone through, that's kind of stifled your self-expression, or maybe others, or some things that kind of got in the way of you feeling comfortable or safe enough to be expressive?
Oh, absolutely. It comes from the relationships we have with our family members in our early years, our formative years, the messages that we hear. And when we internalize these things, we allow others to define our own sense of self and self-worth.
Yeah.
So it is very natural for us to have an artificial way of expressing ourselves and being ourselves that fit into the confines of someone else's box or description that's really not our authentic selves. And a lot of times it's a survival mechanism. We want to keep peace. We want people to accept us and love us. We don't want to make waves. And so we do what we need to do to feel loved and accepted, even if it's not necessarily walking in our own truth and really being ourselves.
Yeah, and as you say that, like being ourselves, walking in our truth, I'm just hearing some of the skeptical things I've heard from different people in my community is, what's that there's a fine line between being selfish, being egotistical, and then just being who we are, right? Being ourselves and being expressive. Do you have any wisdom or anything to share on kind of that little fine line of walking in those two realms?
Yes, it's very important that that we don't give up on what we know inside who we are and what we can do. Don't let go of that ego in a positive way, that yes, I'm worthy. Yes, I'm good enough. And I have every much right to walk this earth and be free to be myself as everyone else. We have certain God-given birthrights. We have rights as individuals.
Yeah.
And when we hold on to that right, no matter what others say or do, and then find a way to get in touch with it. To me, you help people, you facilitate folks in standing up for their rights as an individual, worthy human being who's worthy of love. They can love themselves and for others to love them as well. We have to if we can't do that ourselves with our own work, we live in a time now where there are folks where that's their gift and their specialty. And if we don't give up and we keep pursuing it, we're going to find that person is going to be that missing puzzle piece in our lives to tap into that. So we hold on to that right and we stand up in our right to be here, to live, to love, and not just survive, but to thrive.
Yeah, I think there's like this, I call it like patriarchal, toxic, masculine, fear-based energy. I think that we've all been brainwashed with, is that to stand up to be bright is to be selfish.
Yes.
And we've been in ways brainwashed as a level of society to think, well, if you are who you are and you're your best self, well, you're being selfish and you're not leaving room for anyone else. But as you're saying, and so many people, I think once they do step out, realize is we all get our own spotlight. If we're in the spotlight and we're in our own divine sense of self, we're in our spotlight. That gives our friend their spotlight, our parent their spotlight, our sibling their spotlight. When we're standing and we're claiming our own spotlight, we get to actually be an example for others of how to claim their own spotlight. And it's not about being selfish or being, quote unquote, too much. But I think there's different kind of containers that are out there that want to keep people small so they can stay in control. And one of the ways is telling people that, oh, well, if you're too much, that means you're selfish. And I find with people that are really compassionate, people that are loving, sometimes they dim their light because they don't want to be selfish. They don't want to hurt anyone else and take too much, that they're not taking any at all. They're not claiming their spotlight. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, I heard a beautiful nugget of wisdom from our friend Kate Phillips yesterday, that self-love is the start of abundance.
Mm.
When people will not allow you to be yourself, that's a scarcity mindset. That this world there's no room in this world for you. You're too much. There's so much. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Shrink down. That's scarcity, that for some reason you can't be tolerated just to be yourself. It's scarcity mindset about the fears that other people that force us into these little these suits, that outfits that just don't fit.
Oh yeah.
And
well, that's right. They don't fit. That's why people feel unwell. Whether it's a physical manifestation, an emotional manifestation, it can be even like a spiritual manifestation. People start to feel unwell because they're not living in who they are. So they're not living in their own vibration.
yes, yeah. And if we pursue the self-love and do what it takes, that opens up abundance for ourselves and for everyone around us. We're going to treat people with abundance. We're going to treat our community with abundance, money and accomplishments. Everything will then come from a standpoint of abundance when we tap into that So that's why, yes, I have a right to be loved, to love myself, to love my neighbor, and then I can be my best person, let my light shine, and it shines upon everyone else. And it's a part of that abundant mindset. So that's how I look at it. I look at it, a scarcity mold when you're forcing people to fit into things and rejecting them if they don't, but it's an abundance mindset when you love yourself and you can truly be yourself, and that
Yeah.
contributes to the greater good.
Well, it's generating that love, that light within. And I think for so many people, we've been taught that that's an outward thing, but it's the generation with like within us. And I think that ties in perfectly to how you help people to not only tap into self-expression, but this creative side of it. And you've probably heard, I've heard so many people say, well, I'm not creative, or I'm not an artist, or I'm not this, I'm not that. Has there ever been any stories that you've witnessed of people that have might had a transformation within that, a breakthrough when they realized that they actually were creative, they were just
I
pure
did.
self-expression?
I did because I found out that when I shared with people that we have events that liberates the creative performing artist inside of you, well, they said, but I'm not a performing artist, so that's not for me. Uh, But guess what? If you allow yourself a moment, if you let me share with you that there's a way, just to, why don't you just try this on for size? Try on something, a part of yourself, maybe that you haven't tried on before, because you see, we are all creative. The reason why we know that everyone is creative is because when we're children, when we're
Yes.
toddlers and preschoolers, oh, we all have creativity. Creativity
Mm-hmm.
through play, imagination. We have creativity that's demonstrated in different ways, a
Yeah.
multitude of ways that people just don't quite think about. Like my mother was a beautiful singer, but she expressed her creativity through her cooking, her home decor, her fashion. She had different ways of expressing that creativity and being herself. And when she's cooking a feast and blasting the Andrea Bocelli Italian opera style and singing along, and the house looks fabulous, like that is her being her fullest self. And people absolutely loved her because of that. So what people need to understand is that there's creativity that comes out in ways that we don't traditionally think of. We're all creative. And when we're able to be that creative person, the reality of our creativity, it shines through everything that we do, like the signature that an artist puts on a painting. There's a signature, there's a pattern that makes us uniquely ourselves as an individual. That's what that creativity, that's what makes us all different. We're not drones. You can be an identical twin, dress the same, talk the same, look the same. We're still individuals with that touch of creativity that distinguishes you from the rest. So we all have it. But the point is, are you open to it? Are you
Yeah,
open?
and
Yeah.
I think creativity can be for many people a scary space because it has a sense of vulnerability in it. It has that sense, that uniqueness, as you're saying. It's like, here's me, and is this something that you're going to love, honor, appreciate? And I think for so many people that let themselves not be open to play and creativity, they start to live life kind of on this like flat line. And life is about the ups and downs. I was having a conversation with a woman recently. It's like when we have to go deep into maybe challenges or stuff, it gives us also an opportunity to jump even higher into joy. Like,
Yeah.
we get that opportunity. And if we see children, they're in their creativity, are also in their self-expression, but they're also in their sadness. They're in their joy. They're in it all. And that's what pure life is about. So for me, what we're talking about today, creative self-expression, is actually food for someone's soul. This is like something someone needs. And it's so easy to get caught up in day-to-day life and everything we need to do, that having containers like something that you do can be really helpful for us adults that got a lot of to-do lists, right? Got a lot of
Yeah.
things on their plate. So I wondered if you could just briefly share ways that you create containers for people to tap into their creativity and their self-expression.
Yes. So one of the things that I'm sorry, you mean outside of the ways that I serve people?
You know, how do you serve people? Like you said, you host workshops and you do things. I think it might
Right.
be helpful for people to be like, okay, that makes more sense. Like I can have a container to do it, and I
Yeah.
kind of know what's to be expected versus what are Joanna and just Tracy saying, go turn on some music and cook some food, and I'm gonna find
Yeah.
myself.
Right. Yeah. So yes, what we're doing is by having just like a sacred and safe judgment-free zone
Yeah.
where you can just be.
Yeah.
It is so important to just be. So many people, they can just be when they're in the bathroom or when they're taking a shower, they can be because they're getting clean. For a lot of people, just being themselves and being accepted, there are very limited contexts in which they feel free to be that way. But when you have a small group of people, let's say a dozen or so, who are who are interested in being who they truly are and who they want to be. And we all have that interest of let's be.
Yeah.
Um, before you come to the event, we have a conversation.
I like
I
that.
get to know about you. You have a little survey on my website, and you have a consultation with me at no cost, just see where you are. Who are
Yeah.
you? Where do you
I
want
love
to
that. I think containers are helpful because it's like kids going on play dates, and they go to on a play date and then there's a ton of different toys and things to do and they just jump around and find their creativity. So I think what Joanna's saying is really important if you're all out there listening, like as adults. Like we don't have to go on a play date where, we're playing kickball or we're painting, but giving ourselves the opportunity to have time and then have space to be creative can be really helpful in our busy lives. And for you, Joanna, I know that people might be interested in learning a little bit more about you and this experience. So is there a website or a way to contact you for more information?
Yes, the website is mattanna.org. That's MATTANNA.org. I'll say it again, MATTANNA.org. And yes, you can learn more about it. But this is for everyone, not people who've ever been a performing artist before. It's not people who want to be a performing artist. Absolutely everyone is welcome to explore a part of themselves to help them be their authentic, true self with their own unique creativity.
I love it. If the world had more people that just felt safe to be who they are and self-expressive, just think of the possibilities that could be out there. So I would love for all of you to get to know Joanna a little bit more. And as we close out, I love to ask all my guests this question, but what does it mean to be unapologetic to you?
Yes, that means to be honest, to be
Oh,
true, and to be authentic no matter what.
oh, that was beautiful. No matter what, be honest. I love it, Joanna. And I know that there are probably more people that are wanting to get to know you right now a little bit. So I know you said you had a free offer or an invitation for anyone that's out there listening right now that you can share with the community.
Yes, absolutely. When we have our 3 hour immersive workshops called the Mattanna 5 dimensional performing arts experience, um, some people say, is it a talent show? Do I have to perform? No, relax. We're going to have little exercises to learn about what our personal story is, what it means to live up to the title of being creative, of being artistic. We take an assessment of what we are interested in doing and being. I offer resources to help you on that path, and you try things out. We're
I love that.
playing together, and that's Story, title, assessment, resources, and try. That's an acronym. START.
Ah,
I show you how to start being creative, authentic, artistic person, whoever you are and whatever that is.
I love it.
So yes, and so when you come to the website and you see it says take our survey, click on it, because guess what? There's a survey. You're going to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about if you've done anything in the performing arts before. There's a follow up. Okay, what kind of dreams? What are you thinking about? And then you have that 30-minute consultation at no cost to you. But we have 3 workshops a month. They're 3-hour immersive experiences that are normally $47. It's the best party ever. And of course, because of you, Tracy, and the wonderful community that you've created of unapologetic women interested in their wellness, well, one of our people in this community, they're going to get a free ticket.
I
So,
love it.
but you have to take the survey and introduce yourself first so I know where to send it. And so that is what I would love to offer. I would love to have someone from this beautiful community that you created for us all to join me. It doesn't cost anything but a little bit of your time.
I love that. So all you out there, check out Joanna's survey on the Mattanna website, and then you're gonna all receive this free conversation with her. It's a really wonderful gift to have someone hold the space for you to figure out how to just be yourself a little more. So I encourage you all to be open to receiving that gift from Joanna, and then one of you is going to actually receive even more. So it's a great opportunity. Go on out, check out Joanna's free gift. And remember, all of you out there, go and be your most unapologetic self, because the world needs you to be you. Thank you, Joanna, for sharing all your wisdom today. And if there's anything else that you have, anybody out there, share questions. If you're seeing this live, Joanna and I will answer your questions. And I hope you all have an unapologetic day. Be well, everybody.